The way I was introduced to Kemetic Yoga is that I was in Detroit lecturing on herbal fasting. I was staying at right by the Riverside Apartments by Joe Louis Arena. And I happened to go to this health food store, and one of Dr. Xavier, who's the one who actually developed the Kemetic Yoga for the modern era. Up until that point, Kemetic Yoga hadn't been practiced for over 5,000 years. But he took hieroglyphics with J. Carruthers in Chicago, and he began to understand that a lot of these hieroglyphs were actually yoga forms that the pharaohs shared with the Indians and the Asians, and they put their own spin on it, but they lost consciousness of the fact that it was all about cultivating the breath. From there, because he had already mastered the Indian system, a lot of the gurus would come over here and they would put him on TV because he was so good at it. But he knew there was something missing. It was a big hole in the practice of yoga. And that's when he became a chiropractor. He went back to school. He got a PhD in naturopathy, certified in acupuncture from Chicago Acupuncture School at Cook County Hospital. And so he was understanding the principles from which the mindset of the pharaohs were able to develop these geometric signatures and cultivating the breath. And from that, he developed the New Horizons Health Institute in Chicago. He's still there practicing and teaching. And his whole thing is that the beauty of Kemetic Yoga is that the body should grow stronger as it grows older. So if you've seen a pharaoh was in his 60s, he will have the body of a 50-year-old. And if he was in his 70s, he will have the body of the life form, the physical, of a 30-year-old. And once they start to approach 80, 90, and 100, they will end up with the body of a 20-year-old physical. So life, the next moment in life should always be more embraceable than the moment that you just left, or you're doing it all wrong. So it's the essence of spirit overcoming the gravity of matter. In other words, bringing our matter into divine order. And all that came about because of the work and the study that Dr. Xavier did in Chicago. But the Kemetic Yoga is basically trying to raise the vibrational frequency of the cells in your body to match the spin of the earth on its axis. This is the reason why everyone wants to go to heaven. It's not a place, it's a state. But most people are operating at such a low vibrational frequency, they yearn to get to that state where they're connected to the electromagnetic field, where they're connected to the frequency and the information emanating from the solar frequency, or the lunar cycle, or the Milky Way. All these things are spinning at a high, intense speed. But our system has not caught up by raising and fine-tuning our frequencies. We can connect to the energy coming from the celestial bodies. And when you make that connection, you're living in a virtual state of heaven. It's not a place. It's not for us some parallel universe floating around somewhere that you can get to after you're dead. It's a state of being that we achieve by cultivating the breath and running the breath through these geometric signatures or geometric progressions. That's the very essence of Kemetic Yoga. What we're trying to do right now, Devyn, is usually when people come to me for the first time, normally with autoimmune issues, serious metabolic issues, whether it's cancer, diabetes, heart problems, arthritis. We introduce it to them by allowing them to, this is oxygen. And this is called raw oxyflush. This oxygenates, stabilized oxygen, oxygenates the gut, which tends to be anaerobic or oxygen depleted, and every cell in the body. And oxygen is the #1 nutrient. Also, we add to that same solution a formula called humic acid. And we call it bioviral zap because it has this aggressive tendency to neutralize pathogens that's foraging in the gut. And humic means soil. It's a Greek word for soil. And it's the original soil that was used when real food was being grown to nourish people's bodies. And then we're very big on minerals because minerals are the key to life. No minerals, no life. Most of the food that's been grown today are so deficient in minerals, they don't even really classify to be called food. They're more drugs masquerading or disguised as food. Because without a proper mineral balance in food, it doesn't have any life-sustaining value. So this is the solution that we start off our day with. The raw oxyflush, body alkalizer, the bioviral zap, and the minerals. And you drink this, here you go. Just drink that down. That helps to bring minerals and oxygen into the body. There's a little bit of a bite, but not much. Now the second thing that we do is the herbal compounds themselves. And the foundation for any herbal protocol that we suggest has to be what is called the Basic Cleanse Nutrition Kit Power Pack. It has about 49 different nutraceuticals that's designed to do two things: to cleanse on a cellular level and to nourish. Because the keys to life is to cleanse and feed the cells and empty the gut. And what people have been used to doing is feeding their guts and polluting their cells and starving their cells. So everybody is usually suffering from intense levels of toxicity and cellular starvation. So we reverse that. In order to make life sustainable, on a daily basis in a 24-hour cycle, the most important cycle for you is the cleansing cycle. If you're not cleansing daily, you're dying. And plus the foods we eat don't have the nutritional profile because we're eating for comfort. This is the reason why, and as soon as we feed our guts, and once it passes the gut, you're hungry again. Because there was no value in what you call food. In fact, they're not even food. These are drugs. They're legal. Safe drugs that are legal, disguised as food. These are drugs disguised as food. And so sooner or later you're going to have some metabolic collapse. Most people, even from the day that they're born, are going through a downward spiral. Even children getting colic and fevers and colds and measles and stuff, which should never happen. Now the second phase, once we start to oxygenate and mineralize the body, is to provide it with certain herbal compounds that have been historically renowned for promoting cellular respiration, cell metabolism, getting rid of toxic substances, and introducing things into the body that's compatible with our biological and spiritual mandate. And every species on Earth operates through a biological mandate. And once you start to live outside of that boundary of that mandate, that's when you start to incur systemic collapses. So we actually start to lose the functional use of our vital glands and organs. So the Power Pack has about 40 different, a little over 40 different nutraceuticals that have been blended together. And that's what you're going to try now in order to provide you not only with cleansing on a daily basis, cleanse and feed the cells, empty the gut is the key to life, but also give you energy that you've been missing. We add a little bit of olive oil to it because it has some beneficial properties, but more importantly, it helps to mute the taste. Not much, just a few drops of the olive oil. And that helps to mute the taste of of the pungency of the herbs. They tend to be bitter. And then we blend that together. We're ready to drink it. And I'm gonna let you drink this, and then I'm gonna drink mine. And that provides almost a pleasant taste, with a very slight amount of bitterness, you know? Not bad. That's the stages that we use to start to restore people the integrity of a person's life force. Because the body has an enormous capacity to do what it does best. And what it does best is heal itself. So once I started to recognize, because I've been doing this for about 50 years, but not on this high level now. So I started manufacturing or putting together herbal compounds quite some time ago, but not to the extent that we're doing it now. Because your understanding grows, your discipline grows. I've never been sick a day in my life. I've never had a cold. At 75, I've never had any medications in my body. No, I've never had any antibiotics. And my diet has evolved to where the only thing that my system can handle are fruits, pure, raw, organic fruits. Not vegetables, just fruits. But because fruits are not grown in the same way that it used to be grown, in humid beds, you know, they're full of minerals and stuff, they don't sustain you because there's a lot missing. So I replaced that, not replaced the fruits, but I shore that up with herbal nutrition. And that's the key for us, herbal nutrition, fruit diet. That's it. And I don't even eat every day. I eat every other day because I'm simply just not hungry. I take the herbal solutions every day. But I don't eat solid mass every day because it's just too much stuff. Literally, it's just simply too much stuff. And the body's not really looking. That's why I have so much energy. That's why I can teach you at Xavier and at Dillard. And in the mornings, I teach two 2-hour classes a day. 7 in the morning to 9 and 6 to 8. And very few people can keep up because they simply don't have the energy because they're poisoning their system 2 and 3 times a day. And the body can't produce the ATP that is needed for the mitochondria to produce ATP for pure energy. So I'm always energetic, you know, and I work until, 8, 9 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Yet I'm still up. It's not personal. It's just that when you start to move closer to the way that you're designed biologically, then as you get older, you get stronger.
Premiumbeat.com. Premiumbeat.com.
100 different nutraceuticals that we employ. I bring them from our warehouse here, and we'll be able to produce them in small batches. But this is at least 100 that pretty much can erase the signature of any disease pattern in your system. And we have, from acai to acetylcysteine that helps to produce glutathione, to acetylglucosamine, which is for the arthritis. And it goes on and on. We have agaricus, which is a very powerful mushroom, alpha-lipoic acid, ashwagandha, asparagus racemosa, arginine for the male formula and the female formula. It helps to dilate the blood vessels. And we have the enzyme complexes. We have this formula here, this ingredient which is extremely expensive for me to get out of Korea called ecolonia kava. Very, very, very important. We have ellagic acid, things for the weight loss, forceline, and acetylcholine is for the brain. It helps to produce acetylcholine, which is literally brain food. Chaga is another very powerful mushroom. L-citrulline goes with the male and female formula. Cordyceps, curcumin, And it goes on, eucalyptus is for the heart. Ginger's got, we have the Siberian ginseng and Penex ginseng from China. The Siberian ginseng we use in a formula with bogleweed that helps with the thyroid integrity. Penex ginseng is a part of the Power Pack. So the Power Pack has about 50 different nutraceuticals. But the other ones are for our urgent care. If you have diabetes, if you have a viral load like herpes, or AIDS, or HIV, HIV and HPV, then alpha-lipoic acid is for the heart. It's also a very powerful antioxidants. It's also in the Power Pack. So we have things for the heart, for arthritis, for the kidneys, for the liver, for the lymphatic system, for the brain, for critical care, etc. Okay.
Premiumbeat.com.
Company that produces artwork in a magazine that deals with philosophy, African-centric philosophy, and the arts. And this is one of my artists, Jessica Strahan, and this is all of her work here that she's done. And she reflects the philosophical mood that black people are in. She really captures that. And I do my own books. I have a digital bindery and a cutter and printers. So we produce everything in-house. We can do as many as 5 books to 2,000 books in a day. And so this gives the opportunity for the community to publish without getting ripped off. This is my publishing company. It's called ZR3 Publishing. So besides manufacturing herbal compounds, which is the foundation, health is everything, but in addition to that, the magazine itself is called Remembrance, Life and Death by Metaphor. And basically going back and re-examining all of the assumptions that we've been making about religions, about the civil rights movement, about our own African heritage, most of which I find to be not completely accurate. So just going back and doing a collective examination of what is valuable, what's not, what has importance, what needs to be looked at again. Because we seem to be stuck in the metaphors of what we've been handed through slavery.